as a filmmaker, Ugandan filmmaker, right? What is your experience so far, and how do you think we are moving?
We still have a ways to go in terms of quality and all that, but this is like our industry's first steps as far as I'm concerned.
Which facets of filmmaking are we, like we need to grow or get better at?
So this one is the riskiest, but my personal desire is I would wish for more political films. Like, guys, you know that we are living in a very weird place politically, but no one is making films about it.
Piracy, because we are developing, as an industry, but then we also still have the piracy issue. It's like, how, like, what are your thoughts and feelings about that?
A lot of filmmakers are fine with it, because usually when your film is on the piracy side, it means it's been recognized, and it's going to be seen by other people.
So that's like a badge of honor. It's like someone liked my film enough to pirate it. I have arrived.
Do you guys pay for all the movies you watch?
And now don't incriminate us. Like,
Hi everyone, welcome to the second episode of Real Africana. My name is Ivara and I'm so glad you could join me today. I am hanging out with two amazing human beings. I have Sharon to my camera right.
Hi.
And I have Joel to my camera left. Joel, did I say that right?
You did it. I'm camera right. She's camera left. She's just on your right, and I'm on your left.
Thank you so much, Joel. That's why I'm here with filmmakers. People who know what they're doing. So as you can see, it's going to be a very fun episode. So I hope you are ready because it's going to be quite the ride. Joel, how are you guys feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm in front of the camera, which is not the best place to be, but I'm taking it in a stride. I'm next to you too, so I'm comfortable.
Yeah. So about Sharon, she's usually in my position, interviewing people. So right now, she's fighting for her life.
Big time.
But she's going to make it to the very end.
I will.
So thank you so much for joining us, Sharon. Sharon is a writer, producer, podcast host, and film buff extraordinaire. Like, I've met film buffs, but then there's Sharon. So I wanted you to come today because I want us to talk about film, talk about Cinema Red Pill, and that's a podcast that you've actually done with Joel.
Yes.
Joel, to introduce him, he is a writer, producer, festival curator, filmmaker.
Yeah, that's a good summary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or do you like storyteller? Because some people nowadays like storyteller. It just kind of encompasses everything.
Yeah, filmmaker is fine.
Yeah. So if you guys have attended Galabi Film Festival, he's been doing it for almost a decade. I feel like I should be clapping.
Right.
Like insert applause.
Yeah. So Joel has worked on shows like Professor T and
The Problem Solvers.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, it's a sci-fi kids animated TV series about 5 extraordinary kids who team up with this robotic professor called Professor T to save the world using the power of math. So it's an edutainment superhero show written for kids like me who are very bad at math. So that's how I approached the show. How would I trick myself into learning something by accident along the way?
I think I should get on that as well because I'm also bad at math.
Yeah.
Like, since P1 up to now. Sorry, my parents. Yeah. But yeah, I think kind of reminds me of Powerpuff Girls and the concept. I was such, I'm still a nerd for the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. What was the name of the other? He was the chemistry professor.
Oh, guy. Professor Utonium.
That was his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that.
The dad. Yeah.
You really have it up here.
I know. That kind of reminds me of the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were doing a podcast. Should I be saying what or still are?
Wow, it's in past tense.
Okay,
because it's changing a lot.
So
now.
These guys have a podcast called Cinema Red Pill. Now, if you're a fan of The Matrix, I'm sure you know exactly where they got the title from. And I want Sharon to tell us a little bit about Cinema Red Pill, how it started.
Cinema Red Pill started in 2015, so we really started at a point when podcasts weren't a thing like they are right now. And at the beginning, because I founded it and I was solo in the beginning, then Joel and Timothy joined me later. I started it at a point when I wanted to know more about the industry, and I just didn't know anything. It was sort of a point of entry for me. Like, let me meet people, interview them, and get to understand Uganda's film industry, because I consume a lot of film. Like, that's my standard procedure. But then I was noticing how little I knew about what's on ground. So this became like an avenue for me to do that. And along the way, people were more available to me than others. Like, I noticed like there were other film buffs like me, and Joel and Timothy really stood out for me, because every time they were game to watch anything. I think about being a film buff is, can you watch anything? No matter how bad it's going to be. Like, guys, like, can you really dedicate those 2 hours of your time? And they were of the same mindset, and that was really fun. You're telling me, the thing is, we've grown. Like, where were we in 2015, we were young believers. We were just off of campus, like, we had time. Them two, Timothy and Joel, are now filmmakers, like, they don't really have that time, guys. And they have lives. I also have a life. Like, life happened to us.
Sharon, it's okay. I completely understand.
Life really happened to us. But what has happened now is that the next iteration of Cinema Red Pill won't be called Cinema Red Pill anymore, for starters, because now I really want to remove any of the international film and fully concentrate on African cinema. And like you said, Cinema Red Pill is a reference to The Matrix. I'm not going to have an African cinema podcast
I know.
that is a reference to The Matrix.
No, I really love that, because actually, as one of the still am a big fan of Cinema Red Pill, and actually Real Africana, guys, was inspired by what these guys have been doing, because I've been a guest on your podcast how many times? I think it was 3 times or 4 times. So I actually had planned to have you guys be my very first guests on this show for that particular reason, because I'm starting out, a film podcast, and there are not that many. Okay, I think now there are quite many. They're there, but not enough. I wish not enough. So I'm trying to add my voice to that, and I felt like you wanted to come and soak up knowledge from you guys. So at the end of the day, I'm doing this for very selfish reasons. I think I'm doing it for you and to put you out there, but I'm just here to kind of just steal as much as possible so that my own podcast can prosper, just like yours did. But Joel, I want to ask you guys what it was like, because when you're doing Cinema Red Pill, 2015, literally, why are you doing a podcast in 2015? When people hear this are like, okay, who sent you? What was, what was going through your minds at that time in 2015? And can you compare that to now? Like the evolution of podcasts, but also, do you think that it's an advantage now that we have more podcasts, or is it a disadvantage? So it's kind of a layered question, but I'll start with
where we are. Very crazy, wild times. I think I got introduced to you maybe through Timothy. Yes.
But no, Joel, I saw you on Facebook. You used to write a lot about film. And I messaged you
you slid in his
I even forgot that I used to write those mini reviews and but I was super into just film stuff, and I had only recently gotten into maybe I want to be a filmmaker as well myself someday. But up to at that point in time, I was just film critic. Like Sharon said, I was just down to watch everything. Good movies, bad movies, anything. Exploitation, auteur, anything. So when she hit me up, as she has just reminded me, do you come on the show and talk about this movie? I think it was a superhero movie or something. It was
definitely a superhero movie.
It was,
you were nerdy in that direction.
Yes. So just started guest starring and never left, because me I was just I'm down.
Not leaving.
Yeah, I'm down to guest star whenever. And then when she said let's just make this a full-on regular thing, I was like, hell yeah. I'm not really doing anything, so so it's down. People were always recording in random places. I think we used to record out of your house,
out of my house, out of some random restaurant, out of an office, someone else's office.
So I get
and we'd all be crowding around this little microphone she got from Moses Serugo. All three of us would crowd around like a microphone
my
and try to be audible.
Wow.
It was amazing times, and during that time as well, it was a film education for me because like she said, Cinema Red Pill did have a more Western influence in the name and everything, and we're doing a lot of Western movies, but we did gradually start branching into like classic African movies and exploring Sembene and like all the greats of the past.
Yeah.
So actually being part of Cinema Red Pill was also a film education for me in African cinema. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I'm glad her podcast, your podcast are exclusively going to be doing that as well. Because it's really amazing. I'll say the evolution between now and then. I do like that the podcast community in its totality has really grown. Of course, like she said, there's not that many film-centered podcasts yet. I don't say of note, I'll just say that I'm engaging with as much. I know most people are doing like lifestyle stuff, like religious stuff, relationships.
For film, mostly like Twitter Spaces are the ones that
Yes.
almost exclusively is where conversations that are still happening, but not in a podcast format.
No. So definitely, so between then and now, I'll say we were kind of just in the wilderness, shouting in the wind. We were surprised how many people engaged with us. There's a time we like rated on like some list for like the top African podcasts. I think there was some randomly.
That's
Yeah.
cute. When you told microphone crowd.
Exactly.
Microphone, which cost me 200K 2050.
So it was nice even at that time that people were listening. And now in this era, like the post-COVID, post-Pal Magic era, where film is like a more cultural phenomenon, especially in Uganda, I feel like the podcast space has a really big opportunity to expand, because I'll say what we are missing from the film industry that would be good for us. I'm talking now more as a filmmaker. Is you need a good space, or like also what film critics as well to exist, because filmmakers, yes, are producing content that influences the culture, but critics serve a very important role in terms of interpreting that that material for the culture. So there's I know like in movies and popular culture, the critics and filmmakers are always at loggerheads, which is fine, but they really do need each other for an industry to thrive. So I am excited for the possibility of not only more African-centered podcasts, but like more podcasts also like reviewing Ugandan content in particular, because I think when we're talking about it even like earlier, when it comes to also filmmakers within the film space, and our ability to critique ourselves is complicated because we're all working with each other.
Right.
We need each other, so that it's very hard for me now to work with this person, and I come on a podcast, I'm like, that movie was trash, man. Did this. But if you're a person that exists purely in the critic space with your critics community, you have that ability, and you're also standing on the outside, and you're able to just say what you actually think.
Sharon is in that position.
She really is.
It's so hard to
I
do.
know,
Do you know how hard it is to
Not
do?
easy, however-
Because people be hustling to get this stuff made.
I know.
They
but
do.
like Joel said, we need to have actual critics, because listen, I have tried to be a critic, but it's hard for me because I also want to create the art.
Yeah.
And like you said, I don't want to be the same person. I come to your film premiere and then I go and write on my blog 2 out of 10. It's going to be really hard. But now, like you, and by the way, I'm actually kind of curious before I move into you, like, mostly being a critic. Joel and Timothy have moved into filmmaking. What has kind of, made you kind of like hold back, if that is the case? And do you intend to get into filmmaking as well? Or it's just you're just going to write and,
I have no intentions of going into filmmaking. I think even the more I know about it, the more I don't want to.
And I respect that.
I really feel like I don't. there's even no need for me to be there.
Okay.
The space that intrigues me the most is showcasing films. So I just feel like that for me, there's already people doing it. I feel like I would want to be more involved in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
In spaces that will show more Ugandan cinema and African cinema outside of the big blockbuster chain of things. So the kinds of films that I want to really talk about on the podcast are the kinds of films I really want to be seen by other people.
Yeah.
That's my concentration and where I feel more passion, more than I feel like, oh, there's a story within me that I don't feel that way.
You're like, I'm just good. I'll just consume.
I'm really good. Like consumption really brings me so much joy.
Oh my God,
So
I love that.
I don't, and sometimes people want to make me feel bad about not
allowed.
wanting to be. I'm like, yes, what?
I mean, I can
know
see
what
why,
brings me
because
joy.
it's supposed to be some kind of like, it's a natural, evolution. But I truly respect that, Joe is like, no.
Please.
But I'm curious because I know I've seen the stuff you've written about. I know you're a brilliant writer. And of course, you have a great eye and, great taste in film and everything. So for me, maybe my question is that since you've decided that you don't want to make films, why aren't you critiquing them? Why can't you go to I was about to say Mr. Joel. Why can't you go to why can't you go to Joel and be like, Mr. T, ABCD?
So Joel is in a more delicate position because he even fully curates and deals with filmmakers on such an intimate level.
Right.
But even myself, I've gotten to know filmmakers, and even as a friend, even as a friend, to look someone in the eye and they actually are able to hear what you have to say, it is difficult. It is so difficult, and it's just the reality. I try to find ways to say information delicately. Like I even made a decision as we went along in the podcast to stop being like, oh, these are the bad things we're saying about the film, these are the good things we're saying about the film. We removed that format completely. Where we're like, what did you feel? I'm going to really make it as personal as possible so that you don't feel, I don't come up and say your film was trash. No. The way you handle this topic I did not like. I really look for delicate ways to do it. And I want to, because I really understand how there's a need for that in the ecosystem for things to move forward. But my God, I wish filmmakers would be more accepting of feedback as well. And there's even other ways to do it amongst yourself. Have crit sessions amongst, okay, fine, you respect other filmmakers, but will you listen? It's a challenge in the art space in general. It's a tough position.
And I feel like when someone has made their first short film, and as you has never made a film, they'll be like, because the thing out there normally is, what have you done?
That's just a classic African
I know,
thing.
it's such it's like, "Boy, what have you done? I have a short film. It's on YouTube. Here's the link. Show me what you've done." So you're like, okay, I guess nothing. And then so you just because I used to kind of be very passionate about wanting to review films, because even Real Africana actually, so for those of you that don't know, it started out as an Instagram blog where in 2020 where I would just post the movies I was watching, just write about them. But then at some point I realized, just write about the things that you love, don't bash the things that you haven't loved, But
that's a cheat code though,
I
Brenda.
know. But
That's
then
a
it's like,
cheat.
what then do you do? Because people are going to get sensitive. But for me, luckily at the time I was only reviewing, because at the time I had the idea of Real Africana being, yes, African movies, but also movies by Black people across, the globe and beyond. So it was more like, okay, I watched, let's say, what's the last African movie I watched?
Did you watch Sinners, maybe?
I watched Sinners, yes.
Great.
So I'll be like, thank you. I'll be like, okay, let me talk about Sinners, right? And there are many things I loved about Sinners, but there are also things I didn't like about it, and I'm able to critique that. But then, what's his name? Ryan Coogler doesn't care about me. Right. He's not going to come to me and be like, what have you done? Show me your YouTube film. Where is it? But then I cannot come to Joel or someone else and be like, So because I'm also a writer, I'm a producer, I'm also an actor. I'm like, hey, when you get good, I want to be cast in your film.
Yes.
So, but I think I think Joel, you touched on something about how people have made podcasts. We have so many podcasts now, which is a beautiful thing. We get to express ourselves. But then we also know that not everyone should have a podcast mic in front of them. Because I feel like it's becoming a bit too excessive. and that people, the topics that people talk about, personally, everyone knows, like, I'm just tired of relationships. Like, guys, I get it. Gender wars, you're going to get the views.
Yes.
But, like, can we move on? Like, gender wars are not going anywhere,
The audience clearly hasn't moved on.
So I'm like, how? So in the like, when it comes to podcasting or expressing yourself on any platform, because for me, I'm also in a state of like, okay, how do I start getting noticed? I could easily just come here and be like, let's talk about all the romantic movies in the world. That's what I mean. That hey, episode is coming. So just to get the views. But then I'm like, I also have other things that I'm passionate about. So this ideally should be a question for, like, down the line as we talk. But then I'm like, because I want to soak up knowledge from you. Yeah. Like, if you're in my position as a first time, okay, let me do this, Sharon. If you had to go back as a your first episode of Cinema Red Pill, what would you do differently? And what can you advise me as someone who's on her beginning journey of, being a film podcaster? I mean, I also do theater and everything, but right now we're talking about film.
I rarely have regrets, but
must be nice.
With this, the thing that I've seen is people getting blockages, or I would have even started way sooner. I think say I was so fussy about like a name, and I'm even also advising myself as I'm trying to do this new iteration of the podcast. Stop being so fussy.
Okay.
Do what you can. Like, if you don't have the name, just record with people, then you'll figure out the name after. I think I would say, don't get any blocks or feel like you can't do something, because I've even recorded with someone where we're recording via a laptop. Like, they had their laptop and we're just recording the sound there, and you guys, it didn't sound bad. Like, it wasn't great, but it was something, and they were able to then get a microphone after, and things progressed there. But I think my advice would be, it's just so stereotypical to say, like, just do, but just do. And Brenda, you've had this idea for years. You eventually got there, but don't see any like small hiccups as blockages. You can alter some small things and still continue going. And maybe that's the difference between you and me, because like you said, I've had this idea for years, and it's, by the way, Real Africana first was an audio podcast, because I was trying to follow in Sharon's footsteps, which was a good idea. But then that was before the visual podcast became a thing, before they blew up. But also, as someone who has worked in TV before, and I've also done like hosting, I was like, I'm kind of, I'm coping out, right? Like, why don't I just do this in front of, a camera? But I was like, no, I want the authentic people to listen to the message. I don't want them to be distracted by all of this. But
most of your fans are just going to be like, she a baddie. That's what they came for.
But no, thank you for saying that, because we overthink everything. Because I had the name, I knew what to talk about. I love films, I love theater. But then it's taken me like 5 years to do, because we last did way too long. But yes, thank you for that. And to anyone who's watching and also listening, just do the thing. But right now, let's talk about just the Ugandan film industry, our favorite topic.
Start with the scaredy cat over there. This one who fears.
Joe.
Who's
Joe? So Joe, as a filmmaker, Ugandan filmmaker, right? What is your experience so far? And how do you think we are moving? Are we moving at all? Are we stalling? Like, what needs to be done? Like, I just want, like, I don't have a specific question. I just want to tell me what comes to mind when I say Ugandan film industry, whether good or bad, great, in between. Like, what is your experience, and how do you feel about the state right now?
I think we're really moving. Was I having the fortune to have curated the Ngalabi Short Film Festival since 2017. Had a front row seat for a lot of like where the Ugandan industry was and how we stacked up against the rest of Africa as we were going. And I'll say technical-wise, in like the past almost a decade or so, our technicals are very strong, much stronger than they were before. We are close, if not equal, to our Kenyan counterparts, who have always been outpacing us on that front. Sound used to be a very big issue. It is still an issue, but those days, Jesus Christ. And most importantly for me, people are earning money at all from making films. Because if I wasn't pro bonoing on some set back in the day, the 2010s,
Yes.
wasn't pro bonoing on some set, I was like, that's why I also had like time to kill on.
On the
It's like, yeah,
podcast.
time to kill on this podcast, time to be someone's donkey on set somewhere, because I'm like,
Why someone's donkey on set?
as a donkey several times.
No,
man,
no,
several
sorry,
sets.
that's a metaphor.
Oh, it's a metaphor.
I was kind of technically
Literally.
Oh, literally, like I was a donkey.
Sorry, guys, I'm very visual.
Well, might as well. I
was like, when did you play a donkey?
I have so many memories of just lugging around heavy, like shooting on like Buziga hills and just lugging heavy equipment up and down. Yeah, good times though, good times. But we're getting paid nothing for that, and there are also these several film communities that existed in these pockets, in their own isolated. But once the Pearl Magic boom came, and people are like, oh, we can pay you for the content. So, granted, we still have a ways to go in terms of quality and all that. But this is like our industry's first steps as far as I'm concerned. Nollywood started from somewhere. Bollywood started from somewhere. So
what are we calling ours, by the way? Sorry, just had to interject there. Are we still on Yugawood, guys? Are we still doing Yugawood?
Yes, people call it Yugawood. They call it Pearlwood. Wakaliwood has somehow also its brand is also so overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah.
Can we claim that? Like anyone outside Wakaliga to claim Wakaliwood?
You want to claim Wakaliwood?
No, we can't. That would be so wrong. It's theirs alone.
But I think I like Pearlwood though.
Yes.
It's more because Yugawood has always kind of
but why the woods, by the way?
I don't know.
Because
Thank you
Hollywood.
So
because we have to copy.
Actually, we don't need that wood. Like it's just like, can you just drop it?
But getting now to the point where people can be paid has been really great. So for those of us that were just passion projects, it was so nice to be like, oh, somebody is willing. It's like I've tricked someone into paying me to write a script. This is amazing. And the fact that you can make a living off of it if
there's
you
no juice from the passion fruit.
Yes, if you're like tricky enough, because that was always like the hang up at home. Be like, yeah, I've seen you working so hard up to 3 a.m. You come home, but wait. Because back then the question, when you'd say, oh, I'm a filmmaker, they'd be like, hey, you mean make films in Uganda? Like who are those people? You don't know who you are.
Yeah.
But now we have stars that are recognizable. Sanyu is like a big hit. Prestige, all of that. So like even with Lukman Ali is like a hit, even beyond beyond our borders. Michael Wawuyo is like a face many people recognize now. So all that visibility has been attracting more of the people that I feel we need to actually start building an industry. I remember meeting very recently, I met this kid at I think it was Litfest or something. It's like this kid studying law.
Okay.
So he came up to me and I was like, oh yeah, I recognize you from Ingalavi Film Festival. What? And he was like, oh, I'm studying law. Like I'm attending all these festivals because I want to get into like the arts. Like I want to specialize in this space.
Like entertainment law?
Yes. Like
I need that.
Exactly. Which is what I told him. I was like, that's great. You're the people we need. You can just admin people like accountants, like all those people, because we've just been hustling as artists and we're very bad at business. Like running all those things by ourselves.
Yeah.
So that kind of visibility and prestige, I feel that film has been getting is encouraging more people to the space that's going to craft that industry. So I feel that coupled with more critics as well entering the space, that's what's going to build us into like something that's respectable. Because if you have people that are sort of focused on like how does this industry actually make money, that's going to influence the kind of art we make here. If critics are saying like, is this work good enough, or what is it saying about our culture? Do we want this kind of message about our culture? Maybe you could do this and this a little better. That's also going to influence the kind of art we create. And I feel like that oversaturation, I'm tying in now into that podcast question you asked her earlier, where it's like, oh, there's so many things, and you're just entering now. I feel like we need that katogo of we just need so many. We need it to be oversaturated. Even the trashiest podcasts, should be here.
Actually, like that.
Yeah,
because it kind of reminds me also of, like, we've been talking about, like, people making films that maybe are not up to the standard.
Yes.
But we all had to start somewhere.
Yes.
We had to start with the worst films, and then they became good, and then now we have we have, like, when you sift through now the quality, it's a lot better than 10, 15 years ago.
Exactly.
So same thing like what you're saying. Even the podcast can also be like, come and have your average podcast. It's fine. Eventually you'll find your footing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, so not only will they grow, because also the more competition you have around you as a podcaster, the better you're going to have to be to get yourself heard. Because and the more we have, the more quality specifically is going to rise to the top. That competition can only make us better, both in the critic space, also in the film space, which I'm happy so many people are just, I want to tell a story, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So all of that katogo is going to work out for us, because so Nollywood used to pump out like film. They would shoot and edit in days. 5 days to 2 weeks. They were just like cranking out those movies, and we're eating them up.
Yeah. Actually, that's very interesting. I don't know how much you know about because now this is a very, I love this question a lot, because you reminded me of something. So we have kind of like tiers now in filmmaking in Uganda. And we have the people who are doing the Pearl Magic, level of films. Then we have the independent type of filmmakers who come to like Ngalabi and festivals like that. And then we have the people downtown. And these people, I found out recently, like, I hope to host someone from downtown,
you really should.
Because I want to see how they do their thing. And what I know so far is that these people churn out films the way Nollywood used to do it back in the day. There's a whole film industry downtown that we do not know about. Us here who are so-called whatever uptown. I don't like that term.
Yeah, nobody. Everyone wants to pretend that distinction is not there.
But it's there.
We live in a class society, so of course,
so it's there. So for me, I want to know, like, even you as a film fan, how often do you consume these films? Have you ever consumed these films?
Not as often as I would like, really. Bambi, the accessibility from where I get the films from.
Is it a language barrier thing?
It is me not going for it. I would not blame anyone but myself.
But have you watched Who Killed Captain Alex?
Of course I've watched
Captain Alex.
I've watched through his films and showed his films, but that's not fair. He's the popular one. So I can't get points for that. I really haven't dug deep into anything that's below. No, I really don't. Like, I know the Bibanda are there and they do that. And I liked Wakaliwood's films because they were more political than other films are. Like, they'll talk about how people are struggling with money, and I really enjoyed seeing that. Like, fine, he'll have the action points, but there's really substance within his films. So I can imagine the other films from down there are also like that. So missed opportunity for me. I really hope I'm speaking to myself. I better do better into
I know personally, and guys out there, just look out for an episode on Ugawood or Akaliwood, the actual thing, because I know these guys are actually also making money.
That's the thing.
They pirate their own things.
Yeah, they pirate their own things and they're also making money.
And sell them for like 2K.
Yeah. That's another thing, by the way, piracy, because we are developing, as an industry, but then we also still have the piracy issue. It's like, what are your thoughts and feelings about that? You can both have a take on this.
A lot of filmmakers are fine with it. Because usually when your film is on the piracy side, it means it's been recognized.
Thank you.
And it's going to be seen by other people. I've seen that even with novelists as well, because like by the time it gives some accessibility, yet at the same time, usually even by the time you're known at that level, you are receiving money at some level.
You'd hope. Yes, slightly.
I think it's a personal thing. Some people, some filmmakers are okay with it, others are really not.
Yeah.
It's a gamble, so I approach and I wait to hear what the other person on the other side is going to say. Even
pay for
with
all the
other
movies
people.
you watch.
Now don't incriminate us. Like, yo,
officially,
how are we supposed to admit to
officially,
this?
I have paid for everything. Officially, of course.
Yeah, we are subscribed to all the sites.
course.
The only free movies watch are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
free.
of which there are many
Yeah.
though. Like,
Yeah.
But I know of some filmmakers out there. I've had stories, of course, who have benefited tremendously from piracy, even in terms of that being their film school, because there's no Disney Plus in Africa. But I know there's people telling me about Disney Plus shows and giving me reviews of the latest episode. I'm like, how did you watch that, bro? I don't know. So I'm like, must be nice. Me, I'm politely waiting for Disney Plus to reach here, and I'll pay officially. Yeah, so it is. But like she said, I've also met filmmakers who that's like a badge of honor. It's like someone liked my film enough to pirate it. I have arrived.
I know.
They even feel I've arrived more than if you give them an award at a festival. They're like, oh my god.
Because the whole point is for your film to be seen.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So absolutely.
But-
okay, guys. So now I want us to take it to a global scale because we know Ugandan, we don't live in a bubble. We are trying to grow and catch up with, like you said, you talked about Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa. People are making moves. So, and this is to you, Sharon. When it comes to the Ugandan film industry and the standards out there that are happening, on the African, do you think we are on our way, or do you think we are still lagging behind in that sense, and in which areas in particular? And is it, for example, is it our script writing? Is it our direction? Is it our acting? Is it producing? Is it distribution? Which facets of filmmaking are we, we need to grow, or get better at?
I think when Joel was speaking, he really, really spoke like a filmmaker. Like, he's very concerned about the money that they make and that they have. Like, those are not my concerns. I'm sorry. So I'm not going to think of things in that level.
Okay.
But I think for me, where I wish for the direction to go more is for films to be made that are written for the person. Like, an issue I have with Uganda's industry right now is a lot of films are made with an issue-based angle because of the way films are funded, and the kind of grants that they receive. It's really issue-based, like it's going to be about malaria, it's going to be about HIV. They'll get their personality in there,
right.
but then it's so issue-based. I really would wish for that to really greatly reduce. I don't think it will ever not exist. It exists everywhere. I would really wish for a reduction, because that's majority of the funding that's there. And I found a lot of frustration with a lot of the films that I watched last year. Like, a lot of short films were funded, but what was being funded? Very issue-based short films. And then I just worry, what trajectory are they going to go on? And I'm also finding a big problem with people not funding feature films, guys. I have beef. I really much prefer feature films. I would really love for a concentration on that. We are really lagging behind. There's funding for starters. There's no funding for the middle people. Like, Lukman is on his own, guys. Like, let him have mates. Can he have mates? Like, let him be on a list of 10 others. Right now, he's our only shining diamond. I would really love for more feature films. Let them fund steps up.
Joel, what you gonna do about this?
About the feature films? We all want to make feature films.
It's that thing really pains me. So, and also this one is the riskiest. But my personal desire is I would wish for more political films. Like, guys, you know that we are living in a very weird place politically, but no one is making films about it. We have to have a stamp of time. Like, film is an imprint of time. Please imprint our time and the weirdness that we are going through right now. I would love for that.
I think we are so censored. We are living. Okay, we're not living in a. We're not censored. Like you said, film is a time capsule, right? It captures, and unfortunately, we're going to look back, like, 10 years from now and be like, what was the political climate at the time? Was it just, malaria and typhoid? I don't think so. I'm sure there was something that was happening on the political, but then, unfortunately, because of that you know, of the climate that we're
Yeah,
in.
we're in a weird place, guys.
We're in a weird place. So
Yeah.
who's going to dare to, you know, to do that? But that also makes me think about, like, there's no funding for people, you know, to make the films they want. Because for me, I would love to like, you know, to like shoot a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
But like, who is going to come and do that? You know, they'll be like, we have romantic comedies on Netflix of white people. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, but I want to see two Ugandans in a proper, like, with all the tropes of a romantic comedy. You know, like, that is my stuff. You don't see them going to a family, you know, planning clinic to talk about how many kids they want to have. So, but yeah, I think that is really, I can completely understand where the frustration comes from. So then how are we going to keep up? How are we going to be on the same level as these people, you know, the Kenyans, the South Africans? Because
Okay, Kenya is also still hustling
Can
as we're idolizing them.
tell us
here.
about them. Since you are very, this is Kenyans, if there's a Kenyan watching, Joel,
Curious where for you'd want to see
Joel
the
is going to
steps go
speak
up.
for you right now.
I would speak for the Kenyans, impossible. But I do view myself more as a regional filmmaker.
Okay.
'Cause I've done
Yes.
projects here and there, and I can tell you Ugandan filmmakers over idealize Kenya too much, because when you go there, it's like you just run into the same problems we have here. It's just more
Right.
expensive
Oh.
problems. So it's like, yes, you feel like, oh, I've arrived somewhere, but it's still like
still
that
the same.
DNA of like what's happening,
Wow.
that they're struggling just as much as we are
Wow.
in that regard. But what I'll say I wanted to piggyback off of where the conversation has been going with the kind of stories that are told. Yeah, Sharon is very right in terms of like the funding dictating what happens. Even aside from that NGO style funding that I think you're referencing, even when it comes to films that are just for entertainment, where the Lookmans as well are operating, or the independent, because we have a lot of amazing also independent African filmmakers that are making films for European audiences. We never see them here.
Time, but
And again, but that and yeah, we've talked to them as well. Some of them are in like the 40s, 50s now, and they're like, man, it's like I've done all these big feature films that Sharon is asking where are they from. But it's like I come home, nobody knows me, nobody has ever seen my films.
Right.
It's like I might as well have done nothing. But even at that level, we are still slaves to what the West tells us. Because I can say there'll be whispers one year in a festival that from Africa we want like the horror genre now. That's all we want to buy. So you go to a film market with like you go with your rom-com with what they're like from Africa this is what's hot right now. Sinners just came out. We need more black horror things like happening, and now that dictates. So now all of us start switching up. It's like, oh crap,
Yeah.
now I need to find a horror movie idea to try and like plug into, because that's where the money is from. But where I see things going ironically is the funding has to come from home,
Oh,
because the way Hollywood was built itself, it was built by philanthropists outside the movie industry,
Yeah.
gambling big chunks of money on films. It was
Yeah.
built by their domestic audiences first, and then they branched out.
yes.
A lot of, especially the uptown people, a lot of us are trying to go through the other way of like, let me get through that audience. And it's like, yeah, you can make some money if you're
Yeah.
good and you're lucky, but then back home, nothing much is changed. It's like you've just helped yourself in a way, but it's like you've not really done much to advance.
Yeah.
So I think actually those downtown filmmakers, in terms of like that system, if they can organize that industry a bit more with how much they're able to churn out and how much people are actually paying, those are the funds that can go to funding something like a mainstream rom-com, like that has more international appeal, or like some independent film. Because even studios themselves, their system is, we need to like focus on films that like make money first, and then from the profits that are left over, we're going to fund this Oscar baby with Scorsese and DiCaprio and what that's going to win awards and push the art form and all those things. But there is money to be made here from the Bibanda here.
Right.
And a guest I would recommend you talk to about that is Sam Tebandeke.
Okay.
Who's working on building data, like data-driven filmmaking. Because right now we're operating with no data. We just make a movie, we have no idea who the audience is, how much they're willing to pay. That's the other thing. That's why, and I'm sure Sharon also has those filmmaker friends. A lot of them just charge you that big 50K lump sum for like the premiere of the film, and then it dies. Of which even for a Marvel movie, I'm looking even for like a discount. I go like a Tuesday afternoon here for like the 10K. So even now paying for your film at that price, it's not like a sustainable thing. And it's like we're just exchanging money in our small circle like this.
Wow.
So we need to build domestically here. So the downtown film industry needs to develop more. We need to also keep being as visible and loud as possible to attract the banks, other philanthropists to invest in the big ideas, because they're there.
Yeah.
Outside of Lookman, there's people that are more focused on like, oh, I want to do rom-coms, I want to do horror films.
Please, can you talk to me?
So they're there. So actually, spaces like this could make them visible. Maybe you can challenge one of them, like, quick fire pitch us your crazy idea, and we see the ideas that are not being made. Absolutely. Yeah. So I feel like that's the way to go, because otherwise the system that we're in now, and I say this as someone who's stuck in there, I just spent the past couple of months drafting so many grants funded by and in my head I know I'm tailoring all my storytelling to fit their sensibilities, their audiences, in hopes that they'll give me funding. And that's sort of the rat race we all get like stuck in. So we need to develop stuff here. If we can make stuff that our audience wants to watch at a quality that our critics can push us to, then we can like develop into like something, and we'll go to the world being like, as Uganda, this is our cinematic voice. Right. So no one can now dictate to us terms and be like, you guys are being too much. Can you tweak this? And
Actually, thank you for that, because I was like, because I want us to close this, but I was going to ask you, like, what would you recommend, excuse me, in terms of like, how we can get more of our films out there and like get funding and get noticed, and you've answered a lot of that in what you've just said. So I'm just going to pass this question to Sharon, like, what do you hope for the Ugandan film industry in the next decade, 10 years from now, 2020? No, that's going to be 2030. Like, what do you hope for it? Also, consider this, we're also moving to the age of AI.
Gosh, you triggered me with AI. Oh my God.
Very
coming.
It's like the AI thing. Because, okay, like the only point with AI, which I'm like the most... and a maybe which is coming from inside, where like I really would dislike for it to be centered much, only if it allows for more people to join. Like if it in any ways is helping more people do something, fine. But if it's trying to replace, or someone is trying to say like, oh, then I'll just make a movie, as you're trying to say like people make movies by AI, so filmmakers are extinct. Like now you're really not talking my language at all, because I love film to come from people, and I want to see what other people are doing. I'm not here to see what more my brain has to do. And like that is so self-centered, like oh, you can make your own movie and you don't need anybody else. That's so boring. I hate
your
that.
whole department, you're the director, writer, actor, producer, editor.
That is so anti-art. Like what? Then you're not even someone who consumes art anytime. No, you don't. But so that stuff frustrates me. But in terms of hopes, I'm like everything Joel said is to a T. I would love for people to not center the West as much as we currently are. The funding is coming from there. who tells us what's nice is coming from there. It's really, really frustrating. And even as a curator, I went for a curator thing, and they were always like, oh, you should look for the films that go to TIFF, or the films like already you're saying don't even dare look at home. Like it's rude.
It is.
It's really, really rude. It's really offensive, actually. People should stop doing that. So I would love to see more of that, because when people are more independent, even if the money is coming from home, the inspiration will also come from home. You won't be looking outside, and you won't be copying what's outside. It will fully be homegrown. Even Nollywood grew like that from the oil money
themselves.
They built it there. It came out.
You know, I feel triggered by the
themselves.
oil money. Where is the oil money? Because we could use the oil money.
But think even of international, like say like people in Germany and stuff, the government funds their films.
Right.
Like the Spanish people, the government funds their films. It's still coming from home somehow.
Yeah.
But right now, all our money is white people money from outside. So it shows.
Our government,
I've been that wandering African at festivals, because every other country is coming like, oh, I want this national fund, this national grant. I'm coming with this money. I want to co-produce with you. As you just wander there, they're like, what are you bringing to the table? It's like, please, sir, give me I have nothing to offer. I have my script.
Oliver Twist.
I'll do whatever you want.
But you know what? I truly hope that our situation is going to change, because even with everything that's been happening over the years, we've been growing, we've been evolving, and the fact that we can even sit here and just measure our progress means a lot. So guys, I just want to say thank you so much for this conversation. It's been enriching. I feel affirmed to keep on talking about film, because I have two great film podcasters, film buffs. So let's continue. Okay, it's been great. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are. Wait a minute, am I saying this like as if it's been live?
Who says it hasn't?
Who says it hasn't? But yeah, Joel and Sharon, thank you so much for honoring my invite. If there's any, where should we find in the social?
Follow Cinema Red Pill right now on Instagram and all the platforms.
Okay, and Joel?
You can find me Joel_Tugeneo on Instagram.
Guys, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us.
Okay.
Keep being awesome.
Thank you.
As always,
Yeah,
you've been so
thank
great.
you.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
And guys, until the next one, it's been Real Africana episode 2. Guys, just the two. I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah.
Finger guns. Just don't do gang
know when you-
signs. The algorithm will.
We are out of here.